All right, today's a big day. 4 digits, 1,000 rear wheel horsepower, GT350 with a Whipple. Hey, you know I love GT350s. I cannot wait to show you this car, tell you all about it, let you watch a dyno pull, but we hit 1,000 to the tires. Hey, if you haven't, please subscribe it, notify us, stay up to date, and then don't forget, in the description, I'm gonna put links of everything we're talking about. We are gonna look at the Gen 2 Whipple, which is on this GT350 right here. We're gonna look at the Gen 5, which I have on another one sitting outside, just so you can see the difference, and then go over the build of what's done so far and what needs to be done in the future. So let's check it out. Hey, what's up? Brent from Brenspeed. As always, thanks for watching Brenspeed TV. 16 GT350, 1,000 roll horsepower. Don't worry, we're gonna watch that dyno pull here in a second, but I wanna tell you what we've done to the engine to get to that point. Like I said, we're also gonna walk outside, we're gonna look at a Gen 5, explain what those make on a stock engine, but this is a very special car because this is the first GT350 way back in the day that we installed a Whipple supercharger on. I have Doug with me, let's go look at it. So this is the old Gen 2, all right? Pretty excited we got to 1,000 with this car because it's the old supercharger. Right now, everything's a Gen 5, and they are supposed to be capable at high boost of a lot more power than what we're making right now. Now, the whole thing on the Gen 5 is they're saying on a stock car, you put the Gen 3 on, let's say the Gen 2 or the Gen 5, throughout those years, they come out close to the same power, basically 700 to 750 real horsepower with the base kit, but we're operating off the Gen 2. And they say the Gen 5 at high boost, which is where we're at, 20.5 PSI, is capable of a lot more. But we did it, so here's what we have going on. So we did a built engine. All right, we're talking sleeved engine, of course, everything forged, billet, all that. Awesome short block, factory heads, but we upgraded the valve springs, stock camshafts, and the old Gen 2 Whipple with a 275 pulley that's making about 20.5 PSI. We are running the upgraded large 150 millimeter throttle body, but still the factory Whipple air induction system. We're doing Cook stepped headers with free-flowing exhaust. And you know, I didn't mention this, obviously this thing has billet oil pump gears. You know, we built the engine for this car, but that's something standard we do on most of our stock engine Whipple builds, but it has that. And then all the cooling mods. So we have the big Aller radiator, the rear cylinder head cooling kit, the cooler thermostat, 4 return style fuel system, all right, triple pump, E85. So we're running a triple pump fuel system, E85, it's cheap fuel. You can run a lot of timing, you can make big power. So that's what we installed. It's a pretty cool engine package. The car drives great. It makes a ton of power. It looks good. There's not a ton of custom fabrication that really needs to go into making this work. But we're gonna make a dyno pull so you can see what it sounds like, and you can, I should say, hear what it sounds like, see what it looks like, and then we'll look at the dyno numbers, and we'll go look at that Gen 5, and then I'm gonna tell you about a few other mods we're gonna do this car starting tomorrow, as well as some other things we already installed on it. Check this out. I forgot to tell you, we're gonna look at these numbers. ID 1300 injectors. I know at this point some of you are watching, you're already like, hey, you didn't mention injectors. I forgot, so ID 1300 injectors, 85 triple pump fuel system. Look, 1,005 real horsepower, 7,500 RPM. Now I'm gonna explain a little bit more on that. That's on our dyno jet rated SAE. Then torque came in at 767 at about 6,000 RPM. Now, here's what I want to tell you about the numbers. Super pleased with these on the Gen 2. I mean, that's actually a dumb amount of horsepower to the tires. But if you look over here, Doug, if you don't mind, the graph is getting flat up here. So, you know, 7,000, we're kind of staying flat. I just really feel like the Gen 2 is out of steam at that point, and I think that's where the Gen 5 is going to just really keep climbing. Historically, I don't care if it's a 3-valve Mustang or a GT500 or a S550 Coyote, whatever. But when you start getting flat like that, you go to a larger or more airflow efficient supercharger. A lot of times at high RPM under big boosts, that number will keep climbing. And I believe that's the point of the Gen 5. So I'm really pumped as we have this car finished right here with all the Gen 5 cars we've been building. When the next person decides that they're gonna do the big build like this, to see how that power climbs. And hey, maybe we'll convert this one over to Gen 5. But speaking of Gen 5, let's walk outside right now. I want to show you what it looks like. You may have seen, but if you haven't, you saw the Gen 2, the Gen 5, completely different design, flows a lot more air. Not a huge difference on a stock engine, but under a big boost car like this, it should come in at a really good power level. So check it out. All right, so I just want to let you take a quick peek at a Gen 5. Hey Doug, check this out. So this is what's available right now. You got a GT350 stock engine. I like using the Gen 5 supercharger. You get the 132 millimeter throttle body, of course, air induction system. I like doing cooling mods. Of course, we like doing billet oil pump gears. This is a really great way if you have a stock 350, kind of get yourself started, 700 to 750 roll horsepower. What is normal pump gas? 91, 93 octane. Let's go back inside. I want to tell you a little bit more about the 16 we have on dyno. What we're going to do tomorrow. What other recommendations I suggest in the future. So let's go check it out. Hey, I'm sorry about the wind out there. Normally I don't do that outside when it's windy, but I just want to show you a Gen 5 versus Gen 2. And hey, even if you have a Gen 3, Doug, take a look at this. So the Gen 2, you can see the difference. I mean, it looks completely different. The Gen 3, you can tell the ribs on top of the supercharger. That's how you identify it. It's a different style supercharger. It's actually improved over a Gen 2, but the Gen 5 is what you get right now. So on the 16, here's what's next. So tomorrow we're going to install half shafts. Still has a stock half shaft set, we're going to do that. The car already has a aluminum drive shaft, has a McLeod 1200 HD clutch, but the transmission. So on this car, 1,000 roll horsepower, what I do next, the tranny. So maybe something like a Magnum. I mean, some of you might get mad at me, but I'd like to see some sort of automatic in a car like this. I think it'd be crazy fast to the drag strip. But I think at some point, this will have a Magnum transmission installed in it, and that would be the next step for this particular client right here. So you're gonna have questions, leave a comment, I'm happy to answer. Don't forget the description. It's gonna have links to this engine package, the parts I just told you about, as well as you can email quote@brenspeed.com. Hey, I have a stock GT350. How much does it cost to get a standard Whipple installed in my car? I don't want to build engine. I just want, 700, 750 tires. Email quote@brenspeed.com or check out our website, www.brenspeed.com. We ship this stuff out all the time. Thanks for watching. Hey, still sticking around? Thanks for watching the video this long. Guess what? It's not over. I said leave a comment like I normally do at the end, but I thought, you know what? They're going to bring this in the shop right now. Why not show you a couple of other parts I was talking about getting ready to go on this car? So first, let's look at the tires. This thing has factory tires on the back, but not gonna work. One of my favorites, Mickey Thompson. Hey Doug, go look at this real quick. Mickey Thompson, ET Street SS, 305, 35, 19. Really good compound. Now, come on. At 1,000 real wheel horsepower, well over 700 real wheel torque. All right, these aren't gonna hook like a slick, but compared to a factory tire, it's gonna be a really good tire. So that's a really good part to put on. If you've got a normal GT or you got any really supercharged Mustang that's making decent power, I love those tires for a street car, all right? Full-on drag car, I might use something different. That's what I use on a street car. I made an error. Hey, I make mistakes. I told you earlier, this has an aluminum drive shaft. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm around these cars all the time, and there's so many different builds. Carbon fiber drive shaft. That's what we use on this package. And then I showed you 275 pulley. It's a 10 rib conversion. So you might have been looking at that belt like, hey, that's really wide. 10 rib conversion on that with a 20% overdrive crank. Now, look at this, half shafts. So we have the Ford Performance half shafts on here, getting ready to go in this. You can see how small the factory half shaft is versus the Ford Performance. All right, these will break. These are rated for 1,500 horsepower. They're made by G-Force. Super high quality, a lot of CNC machine parts on it. I've used these a lot. I've used them in drag racing. I've used them in a lot of road racing. So that's a half shaft of choice for me on like the One Lap America. It's a huge road race circuit. I've done that 3 times. Those are the half shafts I use. Intense racing, never had a problem with them. So I really trust them. So that's what's going in the 350s. One other thing I want to talk to you about is the active exhaust system. We are putting the Borla Attack on this car coming up in the next couple days. But the reason, here's why we do it. So, and it doesn't have to be a big horsepower car like this. It can be, you know, 700 at the tires. But if you do free flowing exhaust, let's say you do some headers, high flow exhaust, factory active on the back. If you hammer the car high RPM with that valve closed, it can actually open and stick open, and it'll put your car in fail safe. It's happened to me on 3 different cars. So how you address that is a Borla Attack system has a much better valve system, and it won't stick open like that. So anytime now that we're looking at like, okay, let's do some big power, supercharged power, maybe not naturally aspirated, but supercharged, really like addressing that whole valve system to prevent problems down the road. So again, leave a comment. Like always, I'd be happy to answer. Don't forget the description. Go in it, click, I'll have links, way more info than I told you right now about this engine package on this car and some other packages we offer. And of course, our number is 574-594-9559. Get a hold of us and leave that comment. I'll answer. Thanks for watching.